Hello, yes, it's me again. Welcome back to Planet 40k. We've got another review for you today. This time it's another one of the characters. It's Illuminor Szeras from the Necrons Index. So we're going to be going through that datasheet today and giving it a Planet 40k rating at the end of this video. So as always, we're going to flip to the rear side of the data card. 220 points. This thing is expensive. This guy's very expensive. He was only 145 points in 9th edition. So he's gone up by quite a fair amount. Now he is an epic hero, of course, so he cannot be equipped with any enhancements. He's going to be equipped with the Eldritch Lance and Impaling Legs. Keywords of note is an infantry. He does have the Cryptek keyword, but he can't really interact with Cryptus rolls because he doesn't actually lead a unit. But we'll get onto that kind of stuff in a bit. Now let's flip this card over and let's check out the statistics begin, and we're going to be, of course, comparing this to 9th edition. So the movement has gone down like pretty much everything in the codex. It's gone down to 7 inches from 8 inches, lost an inch. Okay, toughness 8, it used to be toughness 6. So that's pretty good. I mean, this thing is an infantry, remember. It's not a monster. It shouldn't have really gone up, but it did. It really does feel like he should have stayed at toughness 6, but I'm very happy with that. Or he should have just got the monster keyword, I suppose. He's got a 2+ armor save instead of a 3+. His wounds went up to 9 from 7. Leadership 6+, and objective control is 3. He's then got a 4+ invulnerable save, which he didn't have in the previous edition either. And I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit here. We're going to just jump straight into one of the abilities just to kind of put this all together. He's got the 4+ for no pain save. So he really does feel like a Necron Primarch because he's got that 2+ armor save, the 4+ invulnerable save, the 4+ feel no pain save. His toughness has gone up to toughness 8. And yeah, 9 wounds. I mean, I know he's infantry. He probably should be a monster. He really does feel like a Primarch. But I'm hoping that the rest of the datasheet can kind of show us why he's so expensive. So let's carry on. We're going to go into the weapons next. Of course, he's got the Eldritch Lance, which is a 36-inch range weapon, so very nice in terms of the range department. Used to have D3 attacks. He's now got a flat 3. Very nice, very nice. Ballistic skill 3+. The strength went up to strength 9 from strength 8. -3 AP, it was -4, that's standard. And the damage used to be D6, it's now a flat 3. I'm totally fine with that. I know the average of D6 is a 3.5, which you obviously can't roll on a dice. But having a flat 3, you kind of know where you stand, and you're not having to do those re-rolls with the CP because you've gone and rolled a 1. So I'm definitely fine with 3. Now, unfortunately, even though it is, we've got 3 attacks now, not D3, a lot of people would suggest that, this is a Terminator killer, but with 3 shots, you're going to be missing 1 on average. Then you're going to be wounded on 3s. You might miss another one there. Then you've got to get through an invuln save. It doesn't actually do a lot. It really doesn't. And that's a problem, in my opinion. That's a problem. It doesn't do a lot. It doesn't do as much as you think it would do. But it's still not a bad weapon to have at range. So the melee weapons with the Eldritch Lance again, we've got 4 attacks as it was. Weapon skill 3+. The strength went up to strength 9. It used to only be strength 6. Again, this is an infantry model. This isn't a monster. This shouldn't have really gone up. But that's totally fine with me. AP -3 again, it was -4, and the damage was 2, it is now a flat 3. So he can actually fight, and he's got 4 attacks. It's virtually the same statistics as the range attack, except you get 1 extra attack when fighting with it. Now that one, it's also got another problem in itself because you don't really want to be fighting with this guy. I'll get onto that in the synergy section. Now the Impaling Legs are additional attacks, they're extra attacks. So not only do you get your 4 from the Lance, you get 4 more from the Impaling Legs. It used to only be 2. Weapon skill 3+, strength 6, -1 AP, not -2 anymore, and 1 damage. They're just a bonus, so I'm not unhappy, I'm not happy, it's fine, whatever, it's good. So then we get onto the ability side. We already mentioned the feel no pain save of a 4+, which makes him very resilient. Now he isn't going to be leading a unit because he's not got that leader ability, so he can be targeted until we get to the first ability, but with that resiliency of a 2+, then a 4+, then a 4+ for no pain save, it's really hard to get rid of him. But let's move into these actual abilities. We've got the faction ability, of course, reanimation protocols. You've then got Illuminor, which is while the model is within 3 inches of 1 or more friendly Necron units, the model will have the lone operative ability, which is nice because now it adds more to his resiliency because he can only be targeted by ranged attacks within 12 inches, which is nice. So really, if you can keep him behind your battle line units, so your opponent has to get through your battle line units to get to him, or with 12 inches away effectively, they can't shoot at him and they effectively can't charge him because of the bricks of warriors or immortals in front of him. So yeah, he is going to stick around, to be fair. But let's move on to the second one, the mechanical augmentation ability, which is an aura. Friendly Necron battle line units within 6. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you improve the AP by 1, which is very nice, especially for any of your battle line. You've only got 2, to be fair. You are slightly restricted with only Immortals and Warriors, but you're going to add 1 to the AP. And at this moment in time of 10th edition, AP is huge, because they've reset the AP. So having any type of AP is good. And also, each time an attack targets the units that are within 6 inches, you're going to worsen the AP for your opponent's weapons by 1 as well. So again, for the exact same reasons, the AP has already been reset. There's a lot of weaponry that's gone down to only -1, that used to be -2, -3. So removing AP is really useful. So it is a good ability. Now you can actually you can increase that 6-inch range every time this model removes a model. In fact, in the fight phase, you can increase it by 3 inches. Let me talk about those 2 abilities for a moment, because well, the first one, the actual aura, you have to really design a list that's dedicated to battle line units that are within 6 inches. A couple of units of Necron Warriors I'd probably be using with Illuminor Szeras, maybe even an Immortal unit behind it as well, just for the added range. You've got to really build your list purely battle line in order to make the absolute maximum use of this guy. If you've not got battle line units, or you've got minimum battle line units, there's not really a point of bringing him. And then that second part, getting into the fight phase, removing models, it's not where you want to be. Warriors don't want to be in the fight phase, fighting stuff in engagement range, nor do Immortals, and ideally nor does Illuminor Szeras, because he's got lone operative. If you're going to block the charges from getting to him, he doesn't need to fight, he doesn't need to get killed, and also he's not going to get shot because of lone operative. So the last ability I'm not that keen on, and there are of course restrictions to the aura. But overall, they are good. They are good. Now, unfortunately, he's lost quite a few abilities from 9th edition. I'll just run through some of these. Rights of Reanimation, of course, that's gone anyway in general. We've lost the Overcharger ability for anti-psychic stuff. Again, I mean, the psychic phase is gone anyway, so you kind of expect that to go. He's lost the augmentation used to be something different. We used to add 1 to the strength or the toughness or the ballistic skill, that's gone. And Illuminor was a double rights reanimation, in fact, so that's gone anyway. So a lot of those abilities are no longer, in 10th edition because they simply aren't there. Let's move into the battlefield role for Illuminor Szeras. Now, I've not got much to say here other than he's a battle line buffer. You're going to stick him in the centre with your warriors, with your immortals, slightly behind them, like I said, so he doesn't get charged, doesn't get shot at because of lone operative, and you're just buffing the AP and removing AP from enemy models' weapons. It's not really rocket science. That's all he's going to be doing. Yes, you can pop some shots off with his Eldritch Lance at 36-inch range. It's not going to do a lot. It can chip off a model every now and then, but it's not really something that you can rely on. And the fight phase, you don't want him in combat, really. You shouldn't have him in combat. So that's really the battlefield role for him. He's not doing much else. Maybe you want to use him for actions and things like that. But other than that, he's not really doing a lot. So let's move into the synergy, I suppose. Of course, you're going to be talking about the Immortals. You're going to be talking about the Warriors. Adding AP, removing AP. You've really got to build your list. Like I said, you've really got to build your list around these battle line units. I quite like the idea of having 2 or 3 units of Necron Warriors. They're so hard to kill this edition. They don't do a massive amount of damage, but when you've got like a Technomancer or Orokin the Diviner, then the Crypto Thralls on top of that, then an Overlord with a free stratagem for the Undying Legions protocol, they're really hard to shift. My question is, do you really need an extra layer of defense when they're already almost impossible to get rid of anyway? Probably not. I don't think you need that. It is nice to have the offense, but once they get charged, they're in combat, they're not really firing. I would just prefer to take Lich Guard, and then Illuminor Szeras doesn't actually interact with them at all. So there is a flaw to all this, and that's kind of what it is. But if you were to look at other units, in terms of synergy, the Technomancer, of course, with the regaining D3 lost wounds to a unit within 3 inches in the movement phase. If he's with Warriors, perhaps, you could then use the ability on Illuminor Szeras, but realistically, he's not going to be taking damage, so don't really need it. Same with the Reanimator. Yes, you can heal an additional D3, but he's not going to really take damage unless all your warriors are dead, which isn't going to happen. So let's move into the pros and cons. This feels like quite a quick review. There's quite a lot to talk about in the pros and cons section though. So first of all, he's very durable. 2+ arm save, 4+ invulnerable save, 4+ feel no pain save, with lone operative. Yeah, he is very tanky, very resilient, and the likelihood is he's not getting charged if you've got loads and loads of battle line units in front of him. The minus AP and the plus AP is currently very good because of the AP reset in the game. So any difference in AP is quite big at this moment in time. He can shoot and fight reasonably well. I say reasonably well with only 3 shots. It's okay. And the fight phase, he's not really going to get into a fight. If you do, then I think you're playing him wrong in my opinion. You're not doing it right. He's got the 36-inch range though, which is my next point. Yes, at least you can fire from the back, I suppose. And he's got the infantry keyword, which I think is quite weird. I think he should have had the monster keyword. So it interacts slightly different with terrain features and things like that. As for the cons, there's quite a few cons, unfortunately. He's very expensive. Very expensive when he's 220 points. I don't think you need it, but okay, we'll crack on. So he's restricted to battle line units. There's only 2 battle line units in the game. If he was going to relate to Lich Guard and all those other kind of units, destroyers, then he'd be almost an auto include. He'd be brilliant. He interacts with everyone. But when you're interacting with just warriors and immortals, I don't feel like you need it. Maybe immortals, there's probably a better case to have him if you've got loads of units of immortals, because their defense isn't as great, even though they are toughness 5. Warriors have just got such a better defense when they got D3 plus 3 on their reanimation roll if they're on an objective. But yeah, warriors is just not. I just don't think you need it. Your list needs to be built around him, as we've kind of mentioned a few times now. You need all your warriors, all your immortals. He's only got 3 shots at range, which realistically isn't going to do a lot. Once you start breaking down the averages, you're going to miss 1 shot on average anyway. Then you're going to have to wound and then get through an in-run save. It's not going to do anything. The energy manipulator isn't ideal. You don't really want him in the fight phase. And even if you did, you're going to extend the range of his augmentation ability, but who cares really, because you can quite easily string out your Necron warriors to get the ability anyway, so who cares about that ability. He's lost a lot of abilities from 9th edition, which we've gone through earlier. And finally, we just don't need him for our defense. I think our defense is one of the best in the game. When you've got your reanimator, your technomancer, your ghost arcs, your warriors with their reanimation protocols ability anyway, you just don't need it, in my opinion, not for 220 points anyway. So let's get on to my Planet 40k rating today for Illuminor Szeras. A lot of people are raving about him. I just don't see it. I really don't see it. And I've actually gone quite... I wouldn't even say this is a harsh rating I'm about to give you. I probably wanted to go lower. I wanted to go a bit lower. But I'm going to go with the Planet 40k rating of 2.5 out of 5. So guys, that is the end of the video today. Make sure you are subscribing on your exits. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next one.